Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with another video, and this one is not pertaining to any hair or anything of this sort. I would first like to say very Merry Christmas to all my subscribers and the new ones that I'll be getting after this video. This video is pretty much based on a traditional fruit cake that I make every year. It's pretty much a tradition that I grew up knowing about since I was a child, and I've continued doing that. So I hope you guys do enjoy. It's just about me demonstrating how I actually make my fruit cake. So do enjoy, and Merry Christmas. Here I have some fruits that I picked up from my local store. Over here I have some prunes, and you can see what they are. They're pretty big. I have some currants. These are fine or small. And I have some raisins. These are much bigger. Here I have some broken cherries, and I have some mixed fruit peel. Now, all of these here in bags, these are 1 pound bags. What I'm going to do is combine all of this together and give it a little wash and drain the water off. Not too much washing, you know, just shake it around and then drain the water off. In the meantime, after, I'm going to chop up some more of this broken cherry because they're pretty chunky in here, but I want them much smaller. So I'm going to cut these up a little bit more by hand and put it aside. I'm going to cut up about ½ a cup of this. And since the mixed peel is already chopped up, I'll put aside another ½ cup of that. Now, the traditional way for this fruit to be combined together is with a mill, but I don't have a mill. So I'm going to be using my blender and putting it on a setting that, you know, it's still going to make the mixture have some body to it, where, you know, you can still pick out pieces. You just want to break this down, but you don't want to puree it. And I'm going to be using this Angostura white oak rum. I bought a 750 ml. I'm going to be using this to blend all of this together. Now, after I blend all of this together, I'm going to put in the cherries that I chopped up by hand, the ½ cup in there, and a ½ cup of this mixed fruit peel. So let me go ahead and blend all of this. So this is my blender. As you see, it doesn't have all the buttons on there that shows grate or chop or anything. But I have been controlling how I blend my fruits with the pulse button. You know, I've just been, doing that, just pulsing it, and that really brought my fruits down to a really nice texture. As you can see, it's not pureed, but it's still thick and chunky enough, you know. It didn't break down too much. And this is actually the 3 packs of the 1 pound bags that I blended up in here. And yes, I used the entire bottle of the white oak rum, so it was just enough for me to blend all these fruits with. And I still have a little bit in this in here. Now you see the texture, how it comes out. It's pretty thick still, but it's not liquidy. So that's pretty good. So this is going to be going into my cake in the next step. So I'm just going to have this sit, and I'm going to put this into the cake batter that I'm going to be mixing up here. So I have ½ a cup of the cherries that I cut up some more by hand, and I have ½ a cup of the mixed peel. So I'm going to dump that in there. And this is going to get mixed in, you know, to soak up the alcohol also. Mix that in. I may just put a little more of the cherries in there, but it depends. I might just put a little more. Oh, doesn't that look nice? Mix that in. And that is going to soak in there. Now, as you see, that's the texture of the mixture. It's not pureed and it's not liquefied in any way. It has a lot of texture to it still. So I'm gonna be mixing up the cake mixture, the batter, and this is gonna go in there. So here I have some ingredients that I'm gonna use to make the batter for my cake. I have some butter. There's 4 sticks of butter in this packet, and that's equivalent to 1 pound. 1 pound of butter. I have some eggs. I'm gonna be using about probably 8 to 10 of those. Some nutmeg, some ground cinnamon, vanilla flavoring, flour, baking powder. I have a lime, and this is actually granulated sugar in here. So I'm gonna start mixing up my batter. Now if you look closely in the egg bowl here, I cracked 10 eggs in here. Now if you look carefully, you will see there's like attachments on the egg yolk itself. You want to try to separate that and get all of those out, each one from off each of the eggs. Try to get that off the egg. It's sort of like a fatty type of thing. You want to get that off. If you notice your eggs well when you crack them in the morning for omelets or something, you will see these little things there. You know, some people tend to leave it on, but I usually take it off. And in this case, it'll be best to take it off. Try to get them all out. Butter. There's 4 sticks of butter in here, which I said is equivalent to 1 pound. Because my recipe is actually a 1 pound cake recipe. I'm making a pound of fruit cake, so that's why I'm using a pound of butter. So here I have 2 cups of sugar, and I'm going to be adding this to my 1 pound of butter. I'm going to cream that to a nice light fluffy texture. Then I'm going to add my eggs along with some lime zest. Now I just took a lime that I had and I just grated around it and just got the skin off. And I got this. So all of this will be combined to a nice fluffy mixture. Ahead and I put in 2 teaspoons of my vanilla flavoring in the mixture, and I already have 4 cups of flour sifted out in these 2 bowls here, and I have 4 teaspoons of baking powder and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon here. So I'm gonna fold this into my mixture gradually and just start mixing. I'm gonna add it a little at a time and start mixing it in. Now that my mixture is all finished here, as you see, it's nice and thick. The spoon can stand in it. I'm gonna start adding the fruits that I blended. So I'm gonna start putting in a little at a time. And mixing this in completely. Now, when I mix this in here, I'm still not done because it has to get this nice, rich brown color to it. And that's where you have to use browning. You can buy these in your grocery store. If you don't have browning, you can make your own, which I'm going to do because I don't have any. And the way to make that is you have to use natural brown sugar. Now it's pretty easy. You heat up a pot, skillet or something, and you put like about a cup or 2 in there, depending on the amount that you want to make. And you just put it on a low heat and let that just it will just melt down and it will form a type of a liquid. But you have to move fast with it. You know, as far as it, I'll have to, like, when I prepare it, take it off the stove, and then I'll be pouring it into my mixture. That gives it an additional rich brown color. The fruits is doing that, but it's not making it all that brown. So it depends on the person, you know, on your desired coloring that you want to put to it. But these fruit cakes are usually, they tend to be pretty nice and rich in color. So I already went ahead and add the sugar into my pot here, and this is gonna caramelize down to a liquid form. As you can see, it's already starting to melt. So when this melts down into that caramelized liquid, I'm gonna pour it into my mixture. My caramelized sugar is already added in, and you see how the color has changed dramatically. It's much darker, and you see the texture of my mix. And a little test here, my spoon can literally just stand in the mixture, so you know that it's really good. I learned that from my mom. I already went ahead and I buttered my pan, and then I lined it with some wax paper. Then I buttered it again, and I floured it. So now I'm gonna start filling up my pan with my cake mix. So my oven has been preheating for a while now on 350. I already laid out my cakes. I'm gonna put them in. I'm gonna reduce the heat to about 325. And in an hour, I think I'll reduce it to 300. And I'll let that continue baking, and you know, I'll constantly check, but I'll know that my cake is finished when I put a toothpick in the middle and I take it out and it's clean. I'll know that my cake is all finished. So, well, this all depends on the size of the pan, the depth of the pan that you have. So I'm just saying my cake, they might bake about 2.5, 3 hours. But again, it depends on the size of the pan and the depth of the pan. So I'm gonna put these in to bake now. So my cakes are all finished, and they stayed in the oven for about 3 hours. They're well cooked and everything. So all I have to do is just take them out of the pan and remove the wax paper and wrap them up properly. So hope you guys enjoyed. So I cut the cake just to show the amount of moisture that I have in my cake. But to further get more moisture into my cake, I'm just gonna add a little more of the of alcohol. You know, it's to each his own. If you want to, you can. If not, you don't have to. And you just kind of throw that on top just to retain the moisture. But you can see how much moisture I have here in my cake. And wrapping the cake is easy. The best thing to do is to use plastic wrap, and you wrap your cake with that. It helps to keep in all of the moisture. And this can stay, you can put this in the fridge or you can leave it out. It depends, because the alcohol actually preserves the cake. So this can last for months and months without going bad. So after this, you just put some foil paper over it and you're done. And storing, that's your storage right there. Thanks for watching, guys.